Listen, folks, all you have to do is go back to 1986. That is when WQHT was born. On August 15th, 1986. Um, months prior to that, MS Communications purchased WAPP from Doubleday. WAPP was a classic rock station, and then later, when MS was looking into the market, they wanted something fresh, they wanted something new. Hence, of course, we all knew 92 WKTU was one legendary dance station, turned into a top 10 station, but it needed a new beat. Hence, Hot 103.5 was born. It was only known as Hot 103 for reasons known to most people. You can't help but thank the people who came up with that legendary branding. Of course, Joel Sakowitz, and who was the program director, the late Chuck Riley, and Eric Edwards, who did the sweepers for that station. And of course, you can't help, and all credit goes to, of course, Rick Allen for creating the imaging for that station to be alive. You know, from the top of the World Trade Center to the very top of the Empire State Building when he moved to 97.1 in 88. And it has been a fixture of New York radio up until when MS decided to turn that station into a hip hop station, which it still is to this day. But the original 103 97 lineup it's incredible. You got Fast Freddie Cologne. You had Al Bandero. You had Broadway Bill Lee, who's still spinning the cuts over at WCBS FM. Deborah Rath, who is doing her thing in L.A. Greg Thunder, Jeff Thomas, George Williams, Ray Agogo Rossi, Stephanie Miller, Howard Hoffman, Joy Gurnick, Ron Stevens. The list goes on. They paved the way for the likes of younger disc jockeys of this time and era. You know, there's like Paul Cubby Bryant. To me, and then there were a lot of names that I could take, like Lulu and Lala over on 103.5 KTU back then, and many others. For me, I was born in 1987. I was born when Hot 103 was on the air, and the legacy of that station is as alive as ever. You can't deny that the station is. 35 years later, they're playing different kind of music because different styles, different tastes. I mean, of course, I've come to know that the current iteration of Hot 97 is kind of like a locale. If you don't know what a locale is, check out Urban Dictionary or go Google that, and yeah, they'll give you the definition of a locale. I mean, but nobody in that Hot 97, that heaven of today, couldn't top the Hot 97 of the late 1980s. So that would say, I would say, is a milestone for that station to be considered live. More recently, I discovered I was on live. I'm on Live 365 a lot. I listen to some music every time and now and again because I'm sick and tired of terrestrial radio on occasions, and Hot 97 is a locale. I mean, don't tell my brother that. Don't tell my brother that. I mean, but I started listening to that station, and they were playing the music that is similar to the Hot 97 it was back in the late 80s. And what we used to hear on KTU when Hot 97 was still playing hip hop. You could thank a lot of people for coming up with so many great ideas to utilize the legacy of Hot 97 on the radio, on internet radio. I will give Johnny Palumbo a huge credit because he just revived the spirit of Hot 103 and Hot 97, because there are so many people that are sick and tired of hearing the same old music. You know the old saying, New York won't stand still for the same old music. Hot 97 of today is a locale. The Hot 97 of the 80s to the early 90s is a surefire success. Because right now, that current iteration of a station failed to honor the history. Meanwhile, a lot of those who listened to Hot 97 or Hot 103 back in the 80s and in the mid 80s to the early 90s, they haven't forgotten all about it. This is where the music of the 1980s, from the dance floors of Winter Circle over in Westbury to like the big venues in New York City and parts of New Jersey and Connecticut. I mean, they had the talent to drive it home. And this weekend and today they celebrate their 35th anniversary. To honor for those who paved the way to help build that station into what it was then, and is still remembered today as a station we all come to know and love. You know, like George Williams, like Greg Thunder, Deborah Rath, Broadway Bill Lee, Big John Mons, Rick Allen, Joel Salkowitz, Jeff Thomas, Franz Freddy Cologne, and Al Bandero, Vanessa Scott, all of them who are associated with that station. Thank you. Thank you for making Hot 97 what it was, and if the current iteration failed to honor their history, at least to continue to honor that history. And that is from the very top of the world. Because nobody, like they all say, nobody plays a hotter mix of the music. The music that we grown up listening to, the music that we adapted to when we were kids. It's still there. You could thank a lot of people for that, because Hot 97, the legacy of Hot 103 and 97.1 will live forever in New York radio. And that is a surefire fact.